Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're in love, because we're about to talk about love. As someone in our subreddit posted about a musical as well as romantical experience, a guy asked me if I liked death grips on our first date. I just started watching TND this past week and suddenly remembered this date I went on a little over 2 years ago. We were in his car just getting to know each other, and I mentioned that I really liked 100 gecs. He asked me if I liked death grips and started playing their music after I said I've never heard of them before. It was not the easiest listen in the first 20 minutes of meeting someone in real life. He turned out to be pretty creepy, and now I kind of wish I still had his number so I can ask him for other music recommendations. This person also posted their last text interaction. Yeah, this interaction is rough. I'm not somebody who's like a stickler for double texting or triple texting or whatever. If you got something to say, you got something to say. And also, I'm not going to stand here and act like I've never texted somebody while I was sad. But it's not a good look to hit somebody up being like, I'm sad. If only you could send me a voice note of you moaning. Maybe not the best thing to reach out with out of the blue. Okay, let's shift gears here and talk about how to introduce death grips into a romantic context. Because believe it or not, I've actually had a little bit of success doing this. When I say success, I mean I've shown death grips to other people who I have been dating at one point, and they either liked it or were like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm into that. Like it was either a positive or just like a neutral experience. Definitely not the awful, sour, terrible reaction that is often talked about online when it comes to coming clean to a partner or somebody who you're seeing about how much you're into death grips. And the reason I've had success with this is not because of some sort of secret unspoken music riz. It's just that there is a time and there is a place for just about everything. And the key is knowing when that time and place is. I would say in most cases, like maybe more than 9 out of 10 cases, the time to introduce death grips is not in the car within the first 20 minutes of meeting somebody. Now, of course, there are exceptions. I mean, you could know off the bat that somebody that you're seeing is also into some really weird or alternative music. In many cases here, like with OP's story, I would actually kind of presume that because somebody is into 100 gecs, not only would they dig death grips, they might actually know who death grips is, given just how much Dylan Brady, production-wise, has kind of taken away from death grips' music inspiration-wise, or at least how much aesthetic overlap there is on some tracks. With that being said, gecs has a pretty wide and interesting appeal and are popular on all sorts of pockets on the internet. You'd be surprised to find out how many gecs fans actually just have very kind of pop-centric tastes and aren't into a lot of loud or extreme music, which there are ways of kind of feeling that out or probing about that without sort of, kind of jumping out of the gate being like, are you into death grips? Which, again, music-wise may not necessarily be the best thing to lead with. When initiating a conversation with a date or a potential partner, you want to make a wholehearted and an objective assessment of what your music taste is. You want to think about those artists or songs or albums that you enjoy the most that wouldn't necessarily harsh the vibe, and lead with that in terms of sharing what you're into. Now, I'm not saying nor am I advocating for you to be inauthentic or, if you're seeing a Taylor Swift fan, you convince them how huge of a Swiftie you are. You don't want to lie, you don't want to fake the funk, and you don't want to pretend to be something that you're not. Nor do you want to end up with someone attracted to you under false pretenses. And look, sometimes over this music stuff, you just have to accept that you aren't going to see eye to eye and you have to let shit go. I've had an experience where I was ghosted when asked about some music that I'm into and shared tracks from Viagra Boys, Justice, and also Janelle Monáe. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm with someone who can't appreciate the comedy of sports, the endless and undeniable grooves of Cross, as well as the pop bliss of Take a Bite. So again, it's not about lying or erasing your Last.fm scrobbling history or making sure your top 5 artists in your Spotify Wrapped are only singers that appeal to women. It's about saying what of the artists that I listen to are some of the most widely accessible or fun or easy to listen to, so that as I'm meeting this person for the first time and I'm either showing them stuff to check out, or I'm literally in them in the car, first hour together IRL, and I'm not ruining the mood by putting on Death Grip's Hothead. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, look, I love that shit. It's amazing. I've reviewed it positively, but it's not setting the mood. If there's anything to this date or this relationship that you're trying to embark on, there will be an opportunity to Death Grips pill them later. Maybe introduce it during a time where you're not like in this first, second date limbo period where the other person is still trying to figure out whether or not you're a weirdo. Because showing them Year of the Snitch off the bat, they will think you're a weirdo. Which, again, there are exceptions, because if they're a weirdo too, or if maybe you've met them at a Death Grips concert, I mean, go for it. It's fair game. But if music taste and music preferences is something that you haven't totally worked out or come to understand with your potential partner yet, I would kind of breadcrumb it in a way. Share in stuff that off the bat is more likely to elicit a positive response, and get gradually more unfiltered with some of the stranger stuff you're into down the road. And at that point, it could be something as simple as, hey, check this out. Here's this fun thing I've been listening to. Oh, here's some weird shit that I'm really crazy about. Look, at that point, like maybe a month down the road, if this person, after getting to know you for all this time, is still going to stop talking to you over something as silly as a song that you're crazy about, even if it is kind of loud and experimental, that person's freaking weird and they're not worthy of your time to begin with. When you do eventually get to the point where you want to introduce Death Grips, try to make an assessment of what are the catchiest or best songs to kind of like, get somebody into their stuff. What were the songs or music videos or records from them that got you excited at first? What are some of their most popular tracks generally? Is it Get Got? Is it I've Seen Footage? So on and so forth. As the person here on Reddit is positing, they wish they still had this guy's number so they could get more music recommendations. So maybe this person ended up liking Death Grips a little bit more down the road as they warmed up to the idea, to where they now want to know other stuff this guy is listening to. Now, OP, I have good news for you. Because this guy is into Death Grips, he's most likely watching me. So anything he would have recommended you is gonna come straight from me. And you're already watching me, babe, so it's good. God, I'm terrible. But yeah, also, given the last text from this guy, there may have been other issues afoot with him being a weirdo beyond just being into Death Grips. And finally, if your reaction to this video is, Anthony, I don't know what to introduce a new partner to as far as like my music taste, everything I listen to is weird and abrasive. I mean, that's kind of a personal issue and more of a problem of having kind of maybe narrow music taste, even if your taste is kind of wild and experimental, which there's not anything inherently wrong with. There are lots of people like that, but I don't know, just for the sake of balance and, maybe emotional stability as well, I think everybody should be into at least a little bit of like, pop stuff or singer-songwriter stuff or dance stuff. Not every day needs to be, an endless grind of power violence and noise rock and industrial hip-hop or music concrete or whatever the fuck. But yeah, this video turned weirdly serious and I think I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Love you. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Death Grips, first date forever.